Something is not working. Hello, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the Positive Principles Show. That worked.
Hi, Max. Hello, everyone.
Hello, good to see you. I got Christine. We have two Christines here. That's Honeybee Rocks is a Christine too. So Christine.
Oh, cool. I like the honeybee.
Yeah,
That's
we
cool.
love Honeybee Rocks. So very good. How's it going there, Polly in Arizona?
Really good. Yeah, I have no complaints. It's even kind of cloudy today, so we've gotten a tiny bit of rain as of late, which is really nice. So I appreciate that.
I think it's
But
supposed to.
yeah, I have no complaints. No complaints at all. Super excited.
I think they said 2:00 it's supposed to snow here, but
Oh.
like literally for an hour, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, that can be pretty.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Oh, I lost my glasses. I lost my other glasses hiking. I mean, how do you do that? I had them in a pocket, and I've gone back on the same trail because I frequently do the same loop. Can't find them.
Why were your glasses in your pocket?
Because sometimes I just pop them in there because I don't wear them when I'm hiking. I like the softer view.
the out of focus, I don't know where I'm going kind of view, like that kind of view.
Yeah, that one. It keeps life mysterious.
I love it. You know, whatever works.
Sometimes when I drive, I do the softer view. No, I
don't. So you're more farsighted or nearsighted?
Oh, you know what? I barely need them when I drive, like barely. Like it's just been in the last few years. What I really have them for is for reading. So this way I never have to take them off. And I'm not one of those people that's constantly losing or reading glasses like I used to be.
So. Yeah.
Christine, I live in Paradise Valley, so I live like 2 hours from Sedona.
That's right. She lives near Sedona.
I do. And I'm so excited. My retreat that I'm doing in May is almost sold out. Like I imagine it'll be sold out in the next 24 hours. I know. I'm really excited. I'm so excited about going there and doing this.
That's so great. Well, Christine, if you're interested, you need to
Christine, if you're interested, reach out because
Holly.
I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, that's
really great people. I'm so excited about the people coming.
Yeah, you got to have the right people for sure.
You got to have the right people, and I'm coming to this. Well, I'll do them several times a year. So I don't know if I'm doing one in the summer because, but I am doing the one in May. So then I'll do one in September or October.
That's awesome.
So several times a year. So. Okay, so Max, do we know what we're talking about today?
Well, I have a lot of updates, but I have a lot of things literally in front of me. I have a lot of things that we could talk about. One thing I want to definitely tell you is that the cats are in heat. Again, and but we're getting that taken next couple weeks. So that's the whole situation. Even so, this reminds me of so the cats are in heat, and I'm doing the. I know I'm freezing up. I don't know why I'm freezing up. So hold on a second. Am I back?
Yeah.
Am I back?
Kind of.
I don't know why it keeps going in and out for some reason. We're having an issue. I don't know why. Okay, let's just stop. Let me stop. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you even though.
Okay, you can hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. I don't understand what's going on. Okay, so I'm doing the Artist Way with my students right now, and Artist Way is really great. Have you ever done the Artist Way? No, it's incredible. It's incredible, and it's a lot of work, and I'm just telling you that. So I'm doing the Artist Way, and I mean that's about it. I got really great new Oracle cards, mermaid Oracle cards.
Oh, cool.
And I did them on the show yesterday. So that was really fun, and they're really beautiful. And actually, I picked one the other night. I had a dream. It was more than a dream. And I sat straight up in bed at 2:30 in the morning. I was like, oh my God. It wasn't even a dream. It was that I can't even explain it. But it was so interesting because I had just got the mermaid Oracle cards, and I pulled the card. I was like, maybe I need to pull a card for that. I don't even know why. And I pulled the card, and it was the exact one that I needed to hear.
Oh, cool.
Of course. And I'm not going to go into details about it. But so that's kind of an update. The kids are in heat. The Artist Way, getting creative. I've been making these boxes for my sister and my niece for their birthdays. I love to do. They're really gorgeous, actually, these boxes for their birthdays. And Mermaid Oracle and Morning Page. That's it. So
that's enough. Those are all good things.
They're all good things.
All good things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we could maybe at the end we'll each pull a card just collectively for everybody here.
Okay.
What do you think about if we talk about this? I don't know if it's a new opportunity, but this thing that's kind of making it into the headlines now of putting like sperm and eggs up on another planet and kind of like doing a plan B. Like if Earth blows up, we've got a plan B. It won't affect us, of course, but like a chipmunk up in another planet.
A chipmunk on another planet. Planet Chipmunk.
Planet Chipmunk.
And I will tell you, this is you definitely beat me. Me being up on news and pop culture, I have not heard this at all. So you're ahead of me.
Yeah, I don't even know how I knew, and then my son brought it to my attention yesterday. So it's in the works. Like, I don't know who's doing it, but they're planning on putting, I could look right now. They're planning on putting, it might be the moon. I don't really know where they're doing it. So they're planning on putting like sperm and eggs up on another planet. But I think it's interesting because so it's not just that, but then isn't the founder of Tesla, isn't he planning on?
Well, of course it's him. Of course it's him.
Well, no, I don't know if he's the egg and sperm dude.
He's got to be involved in it somehow. He's got to be involved.
Yeah. Okay. So, but what do you think about this? If we're kind of now shifting into Plan B and maybe thinking.
Okay, my first thing is that am I mistaken in saying that the abortion pill is called Plan B?
No, you're right. It is called Plan B.
But isn't that an interesting thing? I was like, wait, that one is like to kind of stop, and the other one's like to keep going. You're calling it Plan B. Oh, okay.
I'm calling it Plan B because you know how there's that image of the Earth, and they say there's no Plan B, but now people are coming up with, oh, well, let's utilize other planets, right? And so that's what I think is interesting.
Well, I love the idea, and I think it's pretty cool. And I'm all about ultimate possibilities of breaking down any kind of paradigms or barriers of limitation. So that's the first thing. Don't you agree?
Okay. This is it. Scientists want to send 335 million seed, sperm, and egg samples to the moon.
Okay, so what are they? They're doing it so that they could retrieve them later? Or when we populate the moon, or what?
Egg samples to the moon to create a lunar Noah's Ark.
Okay. Okay.
So basically you guys can read the articles. That's all. I just know the gist of it. But I think it is kind of interesting because anytime that we start, say you're in a crappy relationship, as soon as you start thinking, oh, there's the neighbor over there, I could get out of this relationship and hop into that relationship, right? As soon as you start doing that, part of you is like,
You got the
I'm
foot out
not
the door
engaged.
already.
Yeah, right. So you're not engaged with what's going on Earth because you're thinking, we've got this other possibility, right?
And I immediately think to myself, that's a lot of times what people use spirituality for.
Yeah.
So they can avoid their life here and pretend that on some level it's all so much bigger than this. That's the truth, but you're here for a reason. And a lot of times people use that kind of, that's what came to me right away. You can use spirituality to like run away from what's happening here, even though what's here is an illusion and it's whatever.
Right.
You know, you shouldn't use spirituality to run away from anything. So that makes sense. I get that. But I also feel like, I mean, what do you think, Polly, with the whole idea that anything's possible, so why not just try anything?
Well, I do. Of course, anything is possible. Is probably, it's already happened, right? But I think, I just think that intention is so powerful, and so we have to be careful of, okay, and collective attention also. So collectively, we can jump on board on this, and maybe it'll take pressure off some of the social stuff that's going on in our country or in our world, right? Some of this, people, it'll take pressure off, and things can kind of settle down and even out on Earth. Mm-hmm. But, in the same sense, like you said, is it just a distraction taking you from, what you need to look at? We're gonna come back and have to deal with whatever's going on in our life if we don't deal with it now.
Well, I think so. On some level, yes. Donald says free cryogenic storage. Yeah, that's true. It's like, well, I don't know. That's so funny that he said that, because it's like now we're going to get into political and social things about whose sperm and whose eggs.
Well, and that's the thing. I don't know if it's animal or people, but if they're separate, right? If there's shipped that the sperm's over here and the eggs are over here, the sperm are not going to migrate through the containers into the right.
Well, I know, but it doesn't matter. Are they going to pick a whole bunch of billionaires to go up there, or a whole bunch of poor people, or are they going to, So, but your point, I think, is really well taken about what the intention is. Why are you doing this?
Right.
What's the point? Why are you doing this? Because if it's for some reason, like you're trying to get away from the world's falling apart and it's going to be better over there, that's not a good reason.
I think that's part of it. I do believe that there's so many that people have kind of, who knows the percent, but there's a fair amount of people who have kind of a fatalistic view of where Earth and humanity is. And that doesn't serve anybody.
Well, it serves them because they like to live in fear. They've been bred into living in fear all the time.
Yeah.
Right? It serves them for sure. It definitely serves them. Many, many, many religions are apocalyptic, right? Many religions. Look at Mormons really. No, I'm not slamming Mormons, but listen. Okay, my cat that's in heat is attacking my feet. Okay, no. Oh my God, that was a poem. Okay, I just have to tell you this really quickly. I have to put my slippers on, my big slippers on, because if I don't, she tears apart my feet. Anyway, okay. So just back to the point, I'll try to focus, is that Mormons are one of the religions that are hell-bent on making sure that they have enough food for the apocalypse.
Yeah.
And the whole thing. So I don't know. That intention is like, I'd rather not live my life like that.
Well, I think it's interesting. We can jump on board and think, oh, wow, this is another possibility. How exciting that we're expanding our possibilities, right? That's one way of looking at it. Or what's the bigger thing? Why are we really doing this? Anyhow,
Right.
I just think it's kind of interesting, and I think it'll be curious to see how the shift that it causes, like how far are we going to go down the rabbit hole, so to speak, in terms of looking at other places, other planets, other existences, right?
Right. Well, listen, yeah, I think it is fascinating because, even though the future is not here and it's never really here, it's
Yeah.
everything is here.
Right.
I think it's interesting too. Hello, hello,
Hi, Kitty.
hello, hello. I'm losing my mind. Okay. All right. Sorry. It's interesting to look at it because it does have to do with how we live our life in a day-to-day basis. So
Yes.
for sure. And anyone that's live in the chat right now, Donald's here and a few people. Give us your ideas about what you think. Let's see. Donald says plant seeds are being stored for the purpose of offsetting. I know that's interesting. The loss of plant-based genetic material. And that is really interesting because I just watched a whole thing about that. Do you know about that, Polly?
No, but I believe it. Like that makes.
There's a whole underground.
Yeah. But what it makes me think of is one time when I was in Hawaii, and I can't remember what island. It might have been Kauai. There was a ton of cornfields, like GMO corn, and they had guards. It wasn't just like growing the GMO corn. They actually had guards around it. Isn't that interesting?
Well, because they thought people were going to steal the GMO corn?
I think because, I can't remember what year this was, but I think it's because there's so many people that are against GMO, right? Genetically modified corn. So there's and so I think that was one of the issues. People, they could go set fire to the cornfield because they don't want genetically modified corn.
That's interesting.
Isn't it interesting?
Yep. Hello, Randy from Dubai, or not Dubai, Bahrain. Sorry. Hello, Randy. Good to see you. I think it's a really interesting subject to watch. To look at right now because it is very spiritual. Because I think that it has to do with time.
What do you mean?
Well, because am I frozen?
No, you're good. That was just a long pause.
I was taking a moment. A dramatic pause. So it has to do with this whole thing has to do with time because we are in the future. Because if you're worrying about the future and then you're not here in the present.
Oh, right, yeah.
Right. So I think that does have to do with time, and time isn't even real anyway. It's not really real. It's just a concept that we've made up. And so I think that it breeds fear.
Yeah.
I think it does. I think it breeds fear. And, use all the sperm and eggs you got right now.
I just think when I heard it, that just, my initial reaction was, well, this is interesting, and what shift will it bring, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that, look, Monsanto wants to be the sole provider of food seeds. Of course they do.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah. And, when I was a kid, right, we grew everything was organic. We grew all of our own food, like everything, milk the cow, everything. So everything was absolutely organic. And it's, and of course, as a kid, I didn't value that. But it's so, now the idea of having like apps, like real food, not the crappy plastic,
right?
Whatever, right? Is tremendous.
It is. I think that all of this is all about how we, what does life on Earth really mean, for each of us?
Yeah.
How are we living life on this earth? How are we soaking it up right now? And how are we, honoring life? I guess it comes back to honoring life.
It does. And I think that there's something really beautiful about, I love that we have the opportunity to think about expansive ways of living. But honestly, there's something very, very beautiful about just being in a very simple, like having a simple lifestyle and being really connected to the earth and being really connected to your community and be very connected to that divine energy. And, and honestly, that is the most expansive way that you can be. I mean, it's more expansive than sending the chipmunk sperm to the moon. It's, you know, it really is that most expansive and connected way.
I agree. And I mean, because we talk about spirituality, is that what connects you with that flow? What connects you with that grace? What connects you with that? And it is simplicity it helps. That's all. It's not very helpful. Can you read what Sarah wrote there? Hi, Sarah.
I feel like Earth will make it as long as we still need it for learning. You know, I read something, there's this, I'm going to mispronounce it, but I really like his messages. It's spelled S-A-D, but it's not sad, I don't think, Sad Guru. But his messages are so good. And
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I love his stuff.
Sadhguru.
Yeah, I love
he's funny too. And he's funny.
Yeah, and, you know, and I think it was him that was saying, you know, once we are enlightened, that we don't need to be on Earth. We don't need our physical body. And was saying something, it was funny though. It was talking about somebody who was enlightened, but they knew that if they, you know, lived a purely enlightened life, then they would no longer be in their body and they didn't want to leave Earth. And so they had an unhealthy connection with food to stay on Earth longer.
Oh, that's interesting.
Isn't that funny?
That's interesting. I love that. I mean, it's interesting because this has been going through my head over and over and over and over. This idea about wake up and just live your life. But first you got to wake up. People are trying to live their life and they're still kind of like caught in the illusion of competition and craziness and all of that stuff, right? So just wake up, live your life, and you know what? You'll be awake, doing whatever you're doing, but you'll be completely not at the effect of the world.
Right. I think it's also important to take time, you know, those little moments, like, you know, that picture that I sent you, Max, that I took when I was hiking that had that, right? So, you know, for whatever reason, I decided, okay, take it, you know, because I'm outside hiking all the time. So take the picture. So I took the picture, and then when I got home and I looked at it, it's like, how cool is that? It has this ray of light. But it's important to do that stuff, right? Because you will find little messages that perhaps, I don't know. I mean, I'm just a really big believer in pausing, take a picture, look at it later on, pausing, write your thoughts down, pausing, doing something that really connects you to the moment, right? If you feel, if there's something that's pulling you to look at something twice, you know, take note of that.
That's it. I agree completely. Randy says we are now divinely digitally connected to so many more people than before. Yes, that's true. And which comes back to all of our experience. Your experience is my experience. We're all connected. There's no doubt about it. And that's a spiritual truth that's been said for many, many, many years. I think you're right. And Nancy says, be in the world, but not of the world. Very true. This is what we talk about all the time. Because the world, you know, there's nothing wrong with the world, but nothing's wrong with the world, really. It's what we've projected onto the world. And on all of our stuff onto it. But when you're starting to do more like what you said, pause, guess what? Oh my God! I of course, approach this from. I get that. Listen, Nancy, that's what you just said. There is not just Christian.
Oh, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. That's not just Christian. I want to say this really quickly that I put up this came to me this morning when I was doing my morning pages. Hold on. And I wrote this down. Oh, God. The more, and I said I, but I changed it for the quote. I'll say I. The more I let go, the better I feel. The better I feel, the more things fall into place. The more things fall into place, the better I feel. Hello. The pause.
The pause.
Stop. I mean, it's so true. And it's like this cycle. It's like, just do things or not do things so that you can feel better. The more you can let go, the more you can let go. And it just deepens and deepens and deepens,
Right.
for sure.
And think about, who do when you have those moments of pause, who do you, because certainly we have them by ourselves, but who do we want in those sacred moments, right? Who do you want to share those moments of, I'll just say brilliant awareness? Who do you want to invite into that circle?
All right. Mm-hmm.
Because I think it warrants saying that, if we look at all of our relationships or look at the way we build our life, and this kind of goes back to what Randy said. So we are digitally connected to so many people, but to really think about how do we want to connect, right? So who do we want to connect with, and how do we want to connect, right? Mm-hmm. Because I think that that's part of it, is simplifying who's in your life.
Well, it's like the whole thing about simplifying what's going into your bubble. Bubble.
Yeah.
My law of attraction class, I have been teaching that for many, many, many years. And I teach about the vibrational bubble, your vibrational bubble. Now we talk about the bubble all the time, right? But it's true. You have a vibrational bubble. And so what are you bringing into your bubble? Are you bringing in doubt? Are you bringing in, people that are not helpful to you? But everyone's helpful to you. So this is where it gets kind of crazy. You don't want to separate. But are you just more talking, Polly, about making choices about who is on your...
Yeah, I think, okay, so here's the way I look at it. So there are moments where we are so connected and we feel like, this is what I feel like when I'm connected to the divine. This is it. And certainly the less distracted we are, it's easier to maintain that connection, right? And so that's when I think about, okay, who are you inviting into your life that you want to share, right? That's a very vulnerable connection. It's a very, it's a very what's the right word?
I don't know.
Sacred connection, right?
Sacred,
and so,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So who do you want to share that sacred connection with, right?
Okay, I'm going to push back for a second.
Perfect.
Because I totally get what you're saying. I'm going to push back a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, of course, there's people we want around us. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt. But a lot of times it's the person that you don't want around you that teaches you the most about yourself.
Right. And I get that, but I also feel like,
because I feel like it's another way of separating ourselves out from what we don't want. And when we separate ourselves out from, this is my experience. When I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want those people around me. Da, 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 da. And then I realize, you know what? I am in a bubble, and I've created this thing that when I look back, I'm like, oh my gosh, wait a second. That person that really pushed my buttons, or that was da, 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 they were showing me. And I didn't learn the lesson, and it came back around.
Right. So I think it's almost more of a less action thing. It's more of an allowing. So when you find that really sacred space, mm-hmm. you have...
Oh God, stop. That's my phone.
Really sacred space.
My sacred space of Marie Osmond.
Okay, when you're in that sacred space with Marie Osmond. Okay, but I guess my point is this. So, okay. Whatever. All of us know what I'm talking about. So, to me, that, I guess that's the thing, is I just really value it. And so I don't let that many people into that space. And even in my life, right? Like, there are many people in my life that, certainly they're there, but do I invite them into tea? No, I don't.
All right.
Because I really am aware of monitoring.
But the reason why we're keeping them from tea I'm not saying, listen, you and I agree on this actually, but I just want to push it a little bit because you and I do agree about this. And I think a lot of people agree about this is that, it's not like you're going to have everyone over to tea that pisses you off. But are we missing an opportunity to deepen and to grow on every level if we say, just literally, we go, oh, they're over here and I'm over here?
It's not like that, though. Because, and I have this conversation a lot with certain people. It's not like that because it's not a judgmental piece. It's just, this is not where I thrive. This is not how I thrive. And at this point in my life, I want to thrive.
Okay, great. Right? I hear you.
And so, an example of this could be, years ago, like, okay, if we're taking, this is when my kids were little, okay, we're hopping on the boat, going over to the cabin, and who should we bring with us? Well, I'm certainly not going to invite somebody that's just going to, be
a big Debbie Downer and be complaining all the time. Of course.
I'm not going to.
I get that on a practical level. I totally get that.
Yeah.
I totally get that. Okay. Listen, this is a good conversation. I hate rapping, but I have a client in a few minutes, so I'm going to have to hurry up. But I think I respect it. I get it. I totally get you. And let's look at our comments for a second. Can you read those comments from, what does it say, Nancy?
We can respect everyone, but we don't have to let them into our lives and spaces. Yes, Nancy, that is exactly the way I view it.
Randy
and
says,
then Randy, I'm not into the entire sacred space thought, so does that mean Randy doesn't get it or he doesn't agree with it? Like he hasn't experienced it or he doesn't agree with it?
I'm not sure. Randy, tell us a little bit more about that. Sounds too futuristic to me, says Elaine. We may be creating a bunch of who knows what. I think we needed more research regarding... are you responding to the sperm and the
sperm and the eggs? She's getting us back on target.
I guess that's it. Probably.
We need to pay her. She's like our program director.
Or maybe on YouTube, it's just really a big lag. I don't know. Carol says, then it's a call for love. And I think that's true. It's a call for love on some level. And it's true. I think, respecting yourself enough to be like, I am not going to do that right now. I get that. But I always think that there's always something. When a button's pushed on any level, we have to look at it for something.
Well, I guess, Max, that's the thing is it's not that there's a button push. I think what it is I'm saying it's a more passive thing. It's who am I allowing in, right? So it's not that there's a button pushed.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So it's not like there's not even an action, if that makes sense.
Great. I get that. That clarifies me a little bit more.
Yeah.
I love it. I love this conversation. I love these conversations because, I think that we all come from different spaces. And I think that, it's so funny because circling back around to the sperm and the moon and the sperm, the spoon and the merm, that whole idea is an idea about that's better on some level over there than what's happening here, which kind of, just follow me, relates to those people need to be over here and I need to be over here.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It is interesting. I love it.
It's just an interesting thing, like if we track this and how humanity shifts with it, like what other countries start doing it and what people, right? That's kind of an interesting thing.
I think it is too. Nancy says, from my point of view, it comes down to two simple things. Love God, love others. From there, you decide what it's going to look like. I love that. Listen, I love simplicity, and you like it too.
Mm-hmm.
Simple.
I do.
Simple. I love it. All right, listen, I'm going to have to get going. It's already 12:40, and I got somebody in just literally 5 minutes.
Fair enough.
So, do you want to pull a card really quickly?
Yep, I'll pull a card really fast.
Pull a card. And then we'll wrap up. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We really appreciate you. And time just flew. We didn't even know what we were doing, but time.
It did, and it was kind of we got off topic a little bit, but it is an interesting thing to think about. Like, maybe what are people ready to discard for something that they think has more potential? I mean, and talk about, starting from the ground up. I mean, you're literally sending eggs and sperm, right? That's funny.
For sure. Thanks for being here, everybody. Go back to the replay and you can watch what we started off talking about. All right, let's see the card you got.
Queen of Hearts, sixth sense. Whoops.
Move it towards the camera. There you go. I don't see it anywhere.
I don't see it. I don't know where it's. Oh, there it is. Okay, so sixth sense. So this, I don't know. I mean, to me, this reminds me of the value of introspection, the value of really turning in and where you want to fit. How do you want to belong? Where is that sense of belonging? Where are you being called to? I think that's what this conversation is about, is where are you being called to? Where do you feel like you fit in? And maybe that's the thing to think about this week, until our next show, is like, where do you feel like you fit in? Where are you being called to be?
That's right. And I got right away. It's like, follow your intuition, what we were talking about. You know what? If you want sperm on the moon, then do sperm on the moon. If you don't, then don't. You know what? It worked for him, works for me, whatever. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Follow that intuition, which is always the same thing. So, all right, Polly, thank you so much. And thank you,
went by fast. Okay.
It sure did.
Until next week.
And how can they find you, Polly?
Oh, thank you. Okay, so you can find me on pollywyrem.com. You can find my YouTube is Polly Wyrem. My Instagram is Polly_Wyrem. And I have a blog featured on Your Tango right now about, I think, God, I can't even remember. It's, when I write them and then it takes them a while to get up there. So it's something I can't remember what it is. But anyhow, I'm always happy when I see my stuff shared.
That's awesome. And thank you, everyone, for being here. You can find out more about me by going to attractpositiveresults.com. Sign up for my newsletter, and you will get 5 Raise Your Vibe videos, and they're pretty darn good if you're not already on my newsletter. And let's see, I think that's about it. Follow me on Clubhouse. I'm there at Max Ryan. I think it's at Max Ryan on Clubhouse too, and Instagram and all that stuff. So, all right. I love you so much, everybody. Go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to say, hey, if there's anybody interested in animal communication, check out the video I did with LA Lex. She's an animal communicator, founder of Gentle Barn, and that's on my website or on my YouTube channel. So Polly Wyrem or pollywyrem.com. Okay, thanks.
All right, everybody. Bye, Polly.
Bye. Thanks, everybody.